Hello, I'm Jean Lythgoe, and I have the pleasure of working here in the local history room at the Rockford Public Library. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the library. Long before there were public libraries, there were private libraries. Rockford had a subscription library in the 1850s. A bunch of young men got together. They kind of pooled their money and bought library books. They were the only ones that got to read those books. And then the Civil War came along and it was disbanded. And after the Civil War, there's kind of a movement throughout the country where they're wanting to have public libraries, libraries that anyone could go into. So in 1872, Illinois passed the Public Library Act. And Rockford, as it says in the newspaper article, Rockford and Winnebago County had been agitating for a public library. They wanted a public library. Everyone wanted to read. They certainly wanted to read newspapers because that's how you got the news of the day. So 1872, a Rockford Library Board is formed. Elias Cosper was one of the people on it. A lot of other good people were on it as well. So they had the board of directors formed, and there was a public meeting July 30th, 1872. And they started the library at that point. They first rented a building, or one of the rooms in the Wallach building, which was located at the northwest corner of State and Main. There's now a parking ramp there, but they had one of the rooms up there, and the early story is that the board members themselves had to paint the walls before the room was ready to use. So that opened in August of 1872, but they couldn't check anything out because they didn't have a librarian yet. So people could use it as a reading room. So it's not until February of 1873 that they have a librarian and they can begin circulating the materials. Initially, there was a small amount of tax money available for the library collection, but the board members themselves helped raise $5,000 by subscription. Individuals, were willing to donate so they could get a good library started. And then they also second, they moved to the 100 block of West State Street. They were up on the second floor. It actually says library right there. You can almost make it out. And they were above the post office. Well, the post office later moved over to South Main. But the library was here until November of 1903 when the Carnegie Library was opened.